brush and letting it fly. But that's kind of messy. And you want your toothbrush to be old. I use this for a lot of things, and then I clean them in alcohol. I use it when I'm cleaning flux. Use it for lots of things. So anyway, that's my point. Just want to let them dry and then go back to other parts. I used my gray paint. You can use any color paint you want. You know, just run to Michael's. Make sure you get a good one. Don't get the acrylic paint that's watery. The creme coat's kind of cruddy. I like Martha Stewart. Her acrylic paint is really good. And actually the paint that I'm using today is Glidden. I went and I had, not Glidden, Bear, excuse me, it's Bear. I went to Home Depot and I have it by the gallon because it's, I think, like $28 for a gallon, but it goes, it goes forever. It's satin, interior satin, and it's great paint. If it's good for furniture, it's good for eggs, it's good for arts and crafts, it's good for crowns. So you guys get the gist of what I'm doing. Let those dry and then come back. And when they're all done, we're going to wax them. Okay, what we're going to do next is we're going to wax our egg. I always just keep separate waxing cloths around that I use. This one's for my light wax. I'm going to take the wax. You don't need a lot. It gets crumbly, but it smashes up. Get it rubbed into my cotton cloth. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to rub it into my egg. You don't need a lot, but you want to rub it in over the whole egg. Then I'll just basically wipe it off a little bit, but it has a nice coating that's gone down into the wood, and that's what you want. Can't really see it, but that's fine. Then I'm going to go and I'm going to use my cloth. You can use a paintbrush. It doesn't really matter which way you do it. I have a special paintbrush that I always use. That's why it's dark. And I'm going to go over the whole thing quite a bit. I mean, a little tiny bit goes a long way. They're not kidding when they say it's going to last you forever. So investing in a can of this for $25, it's totally worth it. Because it's just such yummy stuff. So now that I've covered the entire thing, I'm going to go back with my clear cloth, and I'm going to go back and get some more of the light wax, and I'm going to take that wax off with the light wax. You don't want to just wipe it off. You're going to take it off with the light wax. I know it seems weird, but that's the way you do it. Oh my gosh, it's so cute. You can leave it as dark or as light as you want. I just want you to still see the blue, but I want it to be a little darker than the natural, just the paint. So If you want to go back and add more, you can always go back and add more. Maybe I'll add a little more. This stuff is fantastic. It's way better than using the burnt umber paint. Oh, I did that wrong. I mean, you can leave it dark if you want. It's whatever you like. It's just so fun. And they're going to look old. They're going to look real. They're going to look like bird eggs. And you're going to do that to each one of your eggs. And I'm pretty happy with it. I think it's cute. It's not a lot of difference, but it's different. Like I said, if you want it darker, you can have it darker. I prefer to just keep it like that. And you do all 3 of your eggs, and they're pretty much done. Okay. Now we're going to go back to our crown, and our tiny roses and our bases are all dry. It's 24 hours later. We're going to take our clamps off. If you have any excess glue, you can clean it up, or you can leave it there because you're going to paint over it. You take off all your clamps. Love it. So cute. Then we're going to be placing our large roses. See how it starts coming to life and it's not so ugly? We're going to take our Dremel tool again. It's loud and obnoxious, but we want this part where we're going to put the rose to be roughed up. We've left the brass plain on the bottom of the roses. We didn't put paint there, so that's good. That's clean. We don't have to clean that up. So we're going to turn it on. Not that big of a space. Not even the size of a dime, but it's important. All right. Now we're going to do the same thing. We're going to use a generous amount of glue. Put a little right on the base. And then put a decent amount on your rose. Not like so much where it's glopping everywhere, but you know what I mean. You can let it sit for 5 minutes. I'm just going to go ahead and put it on. Make sure it's centered. And then, I think I'll use the little ones for this. I don't know if it'll fit. I think I used the big ones before. No, it's not going to work. I don't even know about putting a clamp on that. It's just going to have to sit before I put a clamp on it. I'm going to let it sit for about at least 20 minutes before I come back to it, and then I'll clamp it. So this is going to take you a while because we're going to have to do it 8 times. Simply because a clamp isn't going to really work. I'm afraid of what the pressure of this clamp will do. I'm afraid it'll smash the rose. And I can tell you when I did the original, I was just patient and it took me all day because I wanted it perfect. So I did each one till it was secure enough to stay on its own. And that's what I did all the way around. Kind of like when all you guys that did the February crown, that was tedious as well, but I mean your end result is so pretty and it's not going to fall apart when you do it that way. So you're going to do that with each one of them. You're just going to let it sit there. So you're basically going to only do one per, I would say, 30 minutes at least. So it's going to take you several hours. So we'll come back when that's dry, and then we're going to go and put one over here, and you're just going to do the same thing all the way around, just like you did your roses on all of them. I'm just showing you. So basically that's what you're going to do, and once they're all on there where they can be secure, then you're going to let them sit there again for another 24 hours. That's why I said it's probably going to take you several days to make this crown, but you guys are going to be happy with it in the end because it's not going to come apart and it's going to last forever. So we'll revisit it when the roses are dry. All right. Now that everything has dried, for you guys it would be all of your roses and your bases and everything's completely dry now. What I want you to do is to get your light blue paint, and what we're going to do is we're going to paint everything that we want to be light blue. So for me, and like the sample, it's pretty much the base of the top of the crown. I did the base pink on this. So I'm not going to paint the roses. If the paint gets on the roses, don't worry about it, because we're going to go back, do the roses later, and then we're going to go back and touch it up. And really there are no rules. It doesn't have to be perfect, because we want it to look old. It's not going to be chipped up, but it's going to look good. So once you do your blue, if you want to do a couple coats, don't do them too thick because you want them to dry evenly. And then come back. You can put them in front of a fan too, that'll help it dry. This is something that's a lot easier than waiting for the roses in the E6000. I know it's hard to wait and wait and wait because you can't finish your project. There's a lot of waiting involved. But it's not going to come apart. So once that's completely dry, we'll come back after you do as many coats as you want. I'm probably going to do, this looks like it's going to cover in one coat. So we'll come back and we'll do the pink. Okay, now that all your blue is dry, we're going to come in with our pink. And I want to make sure you guys got everything, even the inside of it, painted blue. As many coats as you want. Whatever you feel is great coverage for you. So we're going to come in with the pink. And the first thing I did was, well, you don't really need to do these, but I came in and I did the little ovals in pink just because I wanted to. But, you know, you guys can do whatever you want. And any paint that you guys have, you can use because you already have it base coated.